Hello everyone. So today's video will be a shorter video. Well, not really that short, but about maybe shorter than my usual art making videos. But in any case, I wanted to take this opportunity to say some stuff and keep you updated some things as well. So one of the first things I want to say is thank you to all those longtime viewers of mine who are still here or have gone on to other channels or other places. I want to say a big thank you to you for supporting this channel with your Amazon affiliated link purchases. This has been a long time coming. I mean, even though it wasn't a whole lot, like over the few years that this channel has been up, and those people who have used my Amazon affiliated links to purchase anything from Amazon, I did get some kickbacks, and those kickbacks has allowed me to purchase a box of Shinhan gouache, 12 colors, for just the price of shipping, which I really appreciate. A big thank you to you all very much. So otherwise, that box of Shinhan gouache would have come in around probably $50 or $60. Yeah, I think $50 or $60 before the current tariff things that are going on. I'm referring to the Trump taxes that has been going on recently at the time of making this video, and it's still going on. So I made that purchase because I knew that this was coming and I wanted to grab them when the prices were still reasonable. So thank you very much. So number two, I wanted to say that I am in the process of registering and paying for my Neurographica instructor course certification. So once I get the certification, which isn't going to be so soon, from the last time I heard it was like a 9-month course, and there's going to be a lot of drawing involved, so I'm not going to have a lot of time making any more videos. So that leads me to the third thing, which is I am decreasing the frequency of uploads for my videos to once a month. Anything I might do extra, like if I have extra things to share for my course, I would put up. So for the time being, during the duration of my course, what I'll probably do is share with you the drawings that I've done during the course and what they're about. Of course, I cannot talk too much about the course in general, so I can share the drawings and talk about what I did. Okay? And the fourth thing is I want to say that this channel has been demonetized. So thank you to all the viewers out there who has tried to help me maintain the monetization by watching most of my older videos. So YouTube has said that I can still become monetized again, but I need like about 10,000 hours, 10,000 watch hours for this channel within 1 year. Now, I would say that YouTube is not my main money maker. I get paid by YouTube like once every 2 years or 3 years for like maybe $120 or somewhere around there, which is not a lot of money. It's basically coffee money or less than coffee money. So basically, I am maintaining this channel because I want this channel to be a repository of art projects or art exercises for mental health reasons. Not my mental health, but these would be art projects or artworks or art techniques that anybody can use for their personal mental health therapeutic reasons. Now, I want to say that this is not art therapy. Art therapy requires someone sitting in front of you to talk to you as you're doing the artwork. And I've mentioned this before in one of my videos. Not everything therapeutic is therapy. Okay? So if you really need therapy, please seek a licensed or certified or qualified therapist or counselor or mental health practitioner somewhere. So, but until that time that you can feel brave enough to share your problems with someone else, you are free to use any therapeutic tools to get to that point, to become brave enough to share your mental health crisis with someone. Okay? And finally, I want to say that this demonetization was not a main reason for lowering the number of uploads for this channel to once a month, or maybe plus one more bonus extra, because this channel was never meant to be a moneymaker for me. My main moneymaker is my practice and the sale of my online classes that are available online through my personal webpage. You can find the URL of my personal webpage in all my videos, and at the end of the videos, it's available there. So if you're interested, so of course, this would mean that after my graduation from my instructor certification course, there is going to be more paid videos on my webpage. Right now, there's not a whole lot because of my only specialist certification for Neurographica. But after I get my instructor certification, I can design my own classes that is Neurographica related and advertise it as such. So hopefully you, my dear audience, would be interested in that. So in any case, I'm going to end this part of the video here and carry on with showing you the next part of the video. Now, in this part of the video, I am going to show you some artwork that were done during my Nagomi Pastel art class. So you can treat this basically as like a sketchbook flip-through, kind of a mini sketchbook flip-through, because there isn't really a lot of artwork at the moment, because it was only a four lesson class stretch over 4 weeks, and each week is one piece of artwork, and each class was about 3 hours, I think. Yeah, 3 hours, 10 to 1 p.m. It was 3 hours. It was really fun, very interesting, showing me ways of using pastels, which I don't usually do, even in my attempts to try Nagomi art on my own. So I've discovered quite a few tips and tricks that I missed out at that point. when I made those videos, those pastel videos that you see. So now that I know, next time I can show more using Nagomi pastel techniques. But I cannot teach Nagomi pastel techniques to you. I can show you how I do it. That's about it. So in any case, I hope you enjoy the rest of this video, and I will talk to you again in the next video. Hello everyone. So this is the show and tell part of the video. Now, as most of you know, I just completed, well, not really just, like maybe a week ago, I just completed my Nagomi Pastel art class. And so this is the pile of artwork that I did in the class. Not all of them, but most of them. So you get to see what I did inside and outside of class, I guess. So here we go, I guess. Okay, so this is nothing. This is just a puncher that I'm using to weigh this thing down because I have a fan blowing in my face because of 32 degrees Celsius here. So, okay, so this is the very first piece of pastel artwork that I did in the class. No stencils involved. I used the wrong paper, and I think the teacher saw me struggling because I thought it was a pastel class and I needed to use pastel paper, but as it turns out, not the case. So with Nagomi pastel art, it requires like pretty smooth paper. So pastel paper is not the way to go. So after this, I came back, I did another piece on a smoother piece of paper, and this was the result. So I kind of like this better than previously, than this one. Okay. And then the next piece of artwork, which is this one. I really like this piece, but the only thing I didn't like about it was I think I had too many stars. And one of my classmates remarked that, but I really like how the Aurora thing turned out, and there was stencils involved. This was a stencil, this was a stencil, this was a stencil, a self-created stencil. The teacher taught us how to create our own stencils with just tracing paper and regular paper. And then everything else is basically by hand. Okay, just like this one, we're basically doing finger painting here. This was also mostly finger painting except for the stars. So in hindsight, yes, I did too many stars, so I am going to make another one when I can find the time to do it, because I did some experimenting with colors. Later on you will see, and that took up most of my time before I had to film for this video. So that's why I couldn't. Okay. So, and this one is also supposed to be a picture of a French penny flower, and it turned out okay. I didn't kind of like it, but it turned out okay, I would say. This was done in class. Every time in class, I always find that I don't have enough time to complete the artwork, except for maybe this piece. Like, I did the stars at home, but everything else I did in class. Okay, so this piece, I completed everything in class except for maybe the fine detail work. So I'm kind of happy, but not really happy. So at some point, I am going to do, actually, I have the drawing and the paper ready to make a cutout and redo this in a bigger size, because I want to see how it turns out in the bigger size. Maybe I will show it to you in a separate video along with what I did, along with this one as well at a later date. So, and this was the final piece of artwork that I did. Again, I didn't have enough time to complete this, but I completed as much of it as I can. And there are lots of things that I didn't like about this. I think one of the things that my teacher mentioned was that how come it's all kind of more or less the same colors. Most of my students was like pink, blue, purple, and then purple or pink again. And I think the whole time I was taking the class, I was thinking I wanted some depth to the whole thing instead of just bands of color. And maybe I overthought it, and this was the result. So because I wanted to be like really light at, you know, at the end of this tunnel. This is supposed to be the Wisteria tunnel in one of the parks in Japan. And I wanted the tunnel, which is the green part, is like the furthest end of this tunnel, to be kind of light, and then coming back to be a bit more dark. And you can see here, maybe I thought too much about it, and this was the result. And the teacher didn't really like it. I didn't really like it either. And I think at some point I'm going to redo this and see how it would turn out. So, but this was like on my last lesson. And then we had a little gallery. And then it's kind of like we display our work plus anything extra I did in class or out of class. So this was the extra work that I did out of class that managed to get displayed in the little art gallery inside the class, and everyone fell in love with this. And I didn't actually have a plastic sheet covering this. My teacher just ran off and got me a piece because I couldn't find the plastic sheet on sale online. So I was like, well, whatever, let's fixate it on it anyway. So, and everyone loved it so much. They were asking like, who did this? Like, because we didn't have our names on there. And everyone loved this so much that I thought I was going to play around with the colors and the composition, because although I like these colors and everything, and it came out really nice, that I really like it, the two biggest mistake I didn't really like was that the composition wasn't right. It's like I would want to move this sun maybe further this side and this one further up. Same thing with this, further up a bit, like somewhere here, and this whole thing moved it slightly further up, which I managed to correct in the next one, you will see. Okay, so this is the correction part that I did. This is just the plastic. You see this band here is just the extra plastic that's covering this thing. So, but I didn't want to peel it off because I don't want to lose the self-adhesive part of this plastic bag. So this was the second piece that I made after the class when I came back, and the composition is good here. The only thing I didn't like was the colors. So yeah, it came out. I mean, I wanted to try something like later on in the dusk, and this would be the moon, So I was playing with colors, and then I made another one also playing with the colors. As you can see, I did move this thing up, which was slightly further up. So in any case, and then I was playing with the colors, and this was the third piece that I made of the same thing, and I was playing with the colors. I was actually trying to make this look like the morning, but it didn't come out that way. So it came out more whimsical. So again, I'm gonna have to try it again to see. Maybe I will go back to this color theme here instead of using this. The only things I like about this is the composition and the other parts of it. I didn't like the color theme because it didn't make me feel like morning. It made me feel like I was in a dream. So it really depends on what you really want to express with it. So, I mean, I kind of like this piece better than this piece. And I like the colors in here best because when I look at this, it makes me feel very happy. Hint, hint. So I won't say much. But in any case, this is kind of like my little sketchbook flip through, if you will, of what I did in this Nagomi pastel class. So I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will talk to you again in the next video. Bye!